Oh, a microphone. The second time. Every time the second time. I don't understand this. Very frustrating for anybody who's been watching, including myself. Are you even out there? Is anybody out there? Um, every day, every other day, the microphone doesn't come on, but I reset and redo it and everything comes on. So, do I kind of go out there and throw out information every day that has nothing in it and then hope that maybe something happens or there's no place to stream to see what's going on first? Well, other than that, hey, who cares, right? Hey, I'm your host, Brian Burden, meteorologist, winter weather expert, frustrated weatherman who can't seem to get himself on YouTube live consistently enough with a microphone that it's YouTube. There's no doubt about it. It's working everywhere else. Will not register the microphone like every other time I come on. So frustrating for the G weatherman who has become an Amish weatherman. And so I will be giving you the Amish forecast today. I have to get to my forecast. That was a little more Italian, wasn't it? So, but here's what happened. The Sauerquist, their cow last night had a baby, had a cow, a calf, for those of you who didn't know the difference. And the calf was at 11:48. So that means rain today. Rain today. 11:48 yesterday, cow, calf, down. They're about a mile or two down, something like that. So I'll be giving you your forecast today. We will be talking about whether it's going to rain all day, not rain all day. Annoy the forecaster who is talking and who hates what's going on at the same time because of the YouTube channel being all messed up, and then trying to view the channel and get things off of there at the same time while he's still waiting for the 29 seconds that it ran before to get rid of that. Download, share. No, don't want to do that. Want to manage videos. So at the same time, I'm talking to you and acting stupid, right? I'm trying to get rid of the other 29-second one. 29-second one that was on there so that I don't have to put up with it again. All right. And that you don't click into the wrong one, that you come to the best Amish weather ever. Frustrating. Like viewers, live viewers. Hey, there's two of you out there. What is up with that? Two people out there on right now. Two are watching us. I am so ecstatic about that, that there are two people. I don't know. Hey, Ray, I don't know if you got in on time when I started, but every morning, not every morning, but every other morning, for some reason, YouTube will not pick up this microphone. So I start and there's nothing. But usually I just click the button and I can disconnect and connect back on. That didn't happen today. I had to reset the entire thing. Took me a minute or two. And then I just put everything out without putting any names on it or anything. And here we are again. So good to see you this morning, Ray. Good to talk to you. We are going to talk some weather today, and we are going to get into it. Hey, it's 9:06. It's Tuesday, March 3rd. Is March officially sprung as spring? Well, that is what we're going to talk about today. If we don't talk about the Sauerquist cow that gave birth yesterday at 11:58 or 11:48, that means rain today for Lafayette, okay? All right, here's what we've got right now, though. Let's go to it. Let me hit some of the buttons on here and see if we can figure this out. Go straight to the live shot as it comes out. And then here's the other thing, Ray. I know you're in there listening to me. To get the picture to come out, I got to come out to this screen and make sure that this is settled in, right? And then the picture goes through, and then I can switch back to the big picture so I can look at the big picture at the same time. And then I can show you what's going on, and I get a better feel for what's actually happening. So I get to see a little bit more of the screen, that kind of thing when I'm looking at it here. But it's 37 degrees outside, so a little chilly this morning. I told you there'll be some sprinkles in and about the area this morning. Then we would start picking up some light rain. And then as the day goes on, we'll probably have a little more light rain later in the day after maybe a brief, sprinkly more activity again in the afternoon instead of more showery activity. And that's what we're kind of going to see today. So 37 is your current temperature. Winds are only 3 miles an hour. We've got a high or somewhere around 43 to 45 today. That's pretty warm for this time of the year, considering where we have been over the last couple months, really. We had a cold winter, you could say that for sure. So this is at least average right here, 43 degrees. Matter of fact, let's go to the bottom, down to the bottom chart, and we'll talk about that real quick. There it is. The average high for today is 44. So there you go. We're going to be right on that high, 43 to 45 degrees. And that's where we are. And the lows this time of the year are already up to 26, 26 for this time of the year. That's giving me my highs and lows there on that chart on the bottom that we've talked about extensively in the past. Kind of shows it shows you the entire year. This is on the MSN screen. If you just type in Lafayette right away, Indiana, and you'll get it. You go to the bottom, it'll show you what the highs and lows were and what it's expected for the next month or so on there. And they'll mimic these numbers that you'll see right here on the screen right here. So they'll be pretty close to that, at least during that time frame. But that's not the only thing we're looking at today. Today, we look at all kinds of different things and we try to figure out where we're going and how we're going to get there based on, first off, the big picture. Well, what's the big picture? The big picture has to be your satellite picture, right? You have to know what's going on just to give yourself a general idea of what's actually happening. So we pop up the United States right away. I put some overlays on here. I prefer to see U.S. interstates and counties. I can pick out almost anything I need to find on around the country based on those two factors, and I try to utilize them pretty well. And right now, what you're seeing on the first visual is just a lot of cloudiness. Really hard to pick out things. Sometimes you can see the shadows really easy early in the morning on the clouds when you get your first couple of visual shots. So I'm going to go to the infrared, and the infrared is not going to help us much either. Look at this big broad band of high clouds over the top of us. Then there's a gap right there in between, more high clouds stretching all the way back out to Colorado and off to our west. And everything is streaming pretty much west to east. So right over the top of us as the day goes on today. And when you zoom in closer, it's not going to help much, is it? You're just going to see a big broad band of clouds, right? So I did zoom in, though, for a reason, because I'm going to put the radar on top of this. There you go, right there. The radar shows the rain just getting to us right now. Pretty consistent. I think we were saying 10 o'clock yesterday was a consistent first part of rain hitting. Here we are. It's 10 minutes after 9, and we're pretty close at this point for the timing on this. So this batch of rain is going to try to push itself through here this morning. Lafayette being right about here, so we're real close. And it's the scattered pretty decent amounts of rain. It looks pretty heavy down to the south. And this is where the expected heaviest amounts of rain are going to be during the day today, is south of Indianapolis to maybe a east-west line right around Indianapolis to the south of it. And we're just on the northern edge, but we are going to get into some of this precipitation right in here. You can see it back out over Illinois right now. Then it kind of quiets down for a few hours this afternoon, and then there'll be another batch that kind of pops up and moves towards us as we push towards the evening hours. And that's going to be the big theme. The big theme is going to be rain, a lot of rain, because we are getting into the spring. And I have gandered at some of the long range charts over the next couple weeks, and there's lots and lots of systems, lots of rain coming in, but lots of warmth also at the same time. So we will be at least be able to see that kind of aspect to it too. And then, of course, so we know the rain is coming. We can see it on the satellite picture right there. Right. Well, the overlay of the radar right over where the satellite was, and we can see where the rain is coming in pretty quickly and should be here within the next hour or so. Ray, you're a little farther south. You might get it a little quicker than we do up here on the north side of town. That will be a strong possibility. And it does look like that radar with that and what you're going to be able to see when it comes in could be heavy. Ray, you're a little farther south of town. Anybody south of town has a better chance of getting some thicker amounts of precipitation. They're talking an inch or two in places down to the south of us, maybe even more. We'll check that out on the charts here shortly. I did want to hit one other spot. Let's take a look at the cameras real quick, okay, and see what we're seeing. And we'll start up north, like I always like to do, different places. Let's get rid of this. All right. There we go. There's the camera up to the north. Now we're way up by Rensselaer. We're way up at 231 where it crosses 65. I don't see any real rain on the ground. I just see kind of clouds. Clouds look a little brighter up there. Watch as we come to the south. I'll bet they start darken up. We might be seeing some sprinkles already. I see some dots on the screen. This is down at 43. Looks like the pavement might be just a little dampish. So we have been seeing some of those sprinkles off and on different areas. Heading down towards the Dayton exit. And there you go. You can already see some of the rain. Remember, I told you about fog potential too this morning, and it looks like there you can see in the distance the fog is settled in too. So this, Ray, is more your place. You're already seeing the sprinkles. You're not even getting into the heavy rain yet. You're just seeing the light stuff so far. We go back. We go downtown. There you go. Yep, pavement's a little bit wet, but nothing real dramatic there out by the mall. And then we go farther south down towards Clarks Hill, and the Frankfurt area. Let's see what their map shows. It just kind of looks like gloomy fog. We said yesterday, I talked about it, there was going to be a big batch of fog south of us, and we would just be on the outskirts, and it would look gloomy and drizzly for us. And it's kind of what we have seen so far on this. But let's take a look at the camera way out by the state line over there. There you go. It's raining over there. You can see how wet it is over there. That's over by the Covington exit on I-74. So that's where you can see that one there. And then let's see, maybe Crawfordsville. Crawfordsville, yep, downtown Crawfordsville. It is raining for anybody down there. So you can see the rain slowly heading in. Doesn't look too heavy, but it's not like just a little drizzly kind of thing that we've been seeing in the morning in some places. So that's something to keep an eye on. So let's go back to the charts. Let's start off with some of the other stuff. We've looked at the satellite. We've looked at where the radar and the rain is, and we'll go real back. Let's see if I can go back real quick to the radar. Will it take me back there? Got to go through all those charts to get to that. Oh, there it is. One too far. There we go. So there's the radar. And again, there's Crawfordsville already in the rain, right? Covington in the rain. We're seeing light rains in different spots. And I'm going to go in one more closer. Let's go in one more closer so we can take a closer look at it. There you go. Lafayette's right here. Crawfordsville, then you got Covington out here, so that's where the rain is and where it's coming from. It looks like there'll be a quick little, maybe a thicker band of precipitation than a lot of scattered stuff where it's a little bit more hit and miss, but still pretty much everybody's going to be seeing rain from that as it presses through and crosses across our bow, as they say on the ship, if you've been out and about on a ship at any given time, anybody that's out there. But that's what we're seeing, at least on the radars this morning and locally. So there we go. Now let's get back into the model itself. Let's see what the HERS says for this morning. What are we going to run into? I'm going to go out a little bit bigger. Still the Midwest. I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here on this front. And this is this morning, obviously. And it shows the band right there, right on our doorstep, right? Here we go. There we go. There's 14Z. That's 9 o'clock. And man, it's pretty much nailed it, right? Of course, this is only a couple hours old, this run. So it's got it pretty good. But notice the thickness, how thick it is. And then watch as it comes by. You get Lafayette's right here. Lafayette's right here. It just kind of brushes us. Matter of fact, my house might not get much at all. Monticello, you might stay out of the mix of anything heavy. I mean, we're not talking heavy rain anyway, but I mean of heavier amounts compared to just the drizzly kind of stuff. That means Rensselaer, Monticello, up here to the north of Lafayette, maybe even Delphi, and where I'm at here in the northern portion of the county, might just see some drizzly kind of stuff, sprinkles, that kind of thing all day. But then here we are at 17. There's noon. You notice it's a little bit less, right? That's that back spot behind the thicker stuff that has moved through. And it's kind of, not much during the day. There's just one little shower it shows over Lafayette in the area, but it looks like more of the heavier precipitation is to the south at this time frame at 1 o'clock. Then at 2 o'clock, it's starting to clear off. Look what's going to happen. And then there's a little backside on it. There it is right there. That is 5 o'clock this afternoon, and we get another little push of some precipitation. It's right on top of us, but still nothing really heavy here. We're not talking big time amounts of precipitation. Then it drops off for a little bit, and then the middle of the night, here we go. We get a little more just over the county, just some precipitation in there and potentials, and then it drops south of us. Oh, that's the good news. So let me go back and look at precipitation totals real quick on that. Total precipitation, look at that. Lafayette, only 1/10 of an inch, basically, right? The farther south you go, southern portion of the county, maybe upwards of a quarter to a half an inch. Crawfordsville, somewhere maybe around an inch. Look at that, even an inch and a half in some spots around there that you can see. And then, but look at this. Here's the big swath of an inch and a half to 2 inches is down basically just south of Terre Haute, south of Indy, north of Louisville, around Cincinnati. It looks like there's about 2 inches out there. That's through this evening. That's through this evening. Now let's go back to the actual precipitation again and show you where it is. So it's died away overnight for most of our county, and we are splitting hairs here, guys. Look at the rain is not very far away. Could this edge be farther to the north? Absolutely could be. We could get a little bit more of that, but right now it's saying that it's not going to do that. And it kind of moves off and kind of leaves us high and dry for Wednesday, at least for a while. But then we still have this kind of look that I talked about yesterday, where it's spotty. There's nothing really thick in there. It's more of a foggy kind of feel, sprinkly, kind of just drizzly kind of feel to it. And look how that kind of moves into our picture during the day tomorrow. It looks like kind of just an ugly day tomorrow with the clouds and that kind of feel. Before another batch of rain comes in tomorrow night, this would be about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. There you go. You got more precipitation coming through, but this one comes through pretty quickly, right? You got a kind of haphazard low trying to settle itself right in here. And there's just not a big time organization. Maybe another low back here, kind of feel like this, the kind of curly Q, not your classic springtime storm, but still kind of that look and that kind of feel from it. And then it kind of clears out overnight, Wednesday night. And then here comes the next batch. Now we're getting a little more organized here with maybe a little bit more of a low back here and a cold front right here. We're getting thicker rain. We're tapping into the moisture to the south of Lafayette, down off of the Gulf of America, starting to pump up. And you're saying, well, we're so far away, but that's the normal pattern is to pump in the moisture and then bring it farther north and north and north. That's how we get into our hot streaks. That's how we get into our very humid streaks in the summer, is that moisture gets tapped in and comes all the way north. And then so here we are going into Thursday morning. It looks like overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, more rain, a lot in there. Now, during this entire period, which is about 48 hours, let's see what it says for precipitation total. Now it's showing at least a half an inch for us or around there. And you can see easily where there's a spread to the north of an inch. So overall, it looks like we're going to be in that inch pattern. And it looks like the folks to the south of us, look at this, 2 to 3, maybe even some 3 to 4 or 5 down here to the south, depending on where you're at. Very hit and miss. You're going to get more scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two potential here from this as they get into some of these spots where it could be 3 or 4 inches. Down south of us. But for us, it looks like at least a half an inch to an inch is a strong possibility through Thursday morning. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just a gloomy rain in, rain out kind of period, depending on where you're at. The farther north, less rain. The farther south, more rain. Kind of just a bummer of a couple of days, but it's going to be a lot like that here over the next month as I'm going to be running you through some of these charts. Okay. Now, and temperature wise, though, what's that going to do for us temperature wise? Well, now I'm going to zoom in a little bit, real close here, real quick. I'm going to go back to the rain just to show you real fast how it can be so close at times. So Lafayette is right here, right? There's Lafayette. And there's the rain right on our doorstep. We've seen that on the radar, and we go across, kind of brushes us, gets most of the county, then scatters out. A little closer in, you can see it. Then some more rain this afternoon. Again, look how close the edge is, though. Could this edge be farther south? Could this edge be a little farther north? Absolutely. Could we get a little more here or there? Yes. Generally speaking, though, the heavier rains are going to be to our south right now. And then it kind of scatters out for a little bit, and then in comes some more rain. This is at about 11 o'clock tonight, and it's raining, and then it's kind of drizzly, comes off of us again by the morning, starts to clear out a little bit, gets a little better and better. And then here comes the kind of drizzly, cloudy look again by midday tomorrow. This is around the 11 o'clock time frame. So tomorrow morning, I'll be talking about the same stuff, right? Oh, look how drizzly, rainy it is. That kind of thing. I think I have an appointment tomorrow morning, so I may have to get out of here a little early. We'll have to see. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning, so we'll see. I may have to get in earlier or just put something out pretty quick and dirty and then head to the appointment. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know, Ray. Uh, then by Wednesday evening, there's the return of the rain as we get into Wednesday evening into Thursday, and it pops and then it unpops and then it pops again for a while in the morning. That's overnight as you're seeing that rain, and then here we are early in the morning on Thursday morning with more and more rain. So what's that doing to our temperatures? Well, what you do notice is no snow, right? We didn't see any of this blue stuff up here, a change in the color at all. So that's the good news. But what are we looking at for temperatures? Well, temperatures during this period look great. Right now, we said it was 37 out, and model says it's 37. Lafayette being right here, right? A slow increase in temperatures during the morning here this morning, 41 by about noon. 42 early afternoon and 44, 45 by 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe 46 if we're lucky. So that's why I was saying if you looked at the numbers on the monthly one on the MSN chart earlier, it said 43, I think. This is going to depend on whether we clear out a little bit this afternoon where we don't have as much rain. We'll warm up. So you notice the pocket south of us right in here is where the rain is, and you notice it's 43, 44. Here, where in this afternoon, where we're supposed to have a little bit of a let up, it's a little bit warmer, 45, just a little pocket right in there of that. And so that's where your potential will be this afternoon. And then tonight, it doesn't get that cold overnight. It starts to drop off, but we don't get down cold enough where that light, rainy, drizzly stuff can turn to anything snow wise. We stay right around that 38, 39 mark. Maybe Rensselaer, maybe up near the lake, if some of this precipitation pushes farther enough north, or we get some drizzle out of it that far north, they could see some snowflakes out of it, but not for us. We're too far into the warmth by this point. And then look at our warmth on Wednesday. Look at how, remember, the rain is right through here again. And to the north, they're into the 50s already. North of us, no rain here, rain here. 5 degree to 8 degree difference already, you can see just in that spread. And the reason we don't get into the 50s much tomorrow is because we stay rainy most of the day. But it does put us on the cusp right there. About what time is that? That is 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, right around 49 degrees. But look at this: South Bend's 57, Chicago's 52. South of us, we got 60s on the horizon right down to the south of us. So here's where the rain is, but that's to be expected, correct? That's what we are going to see. So then we go through Wednesday night, coming into Thursday morning. Temperatures stay warm. Notice that we're still in the 40s, upper 40s to near 50. Matter of fact, it's warmer Thursday morning than it's going to be, and during the middle of the night than it's going to be during Wednesday afternoon. It shows a couple degrees more warmth. And then here we are Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, and it's 50 to 52 degrees in Lafayette, where the high the previous day was only around 48. And that may actually come around midnight. So on Wednesday night going into Thursday. So temperature wise, there it is. Unfortunately, in rainy conditions, temperatures, at least the temperatures are slightly above normal, right? With those 50s in there, and the high temperature today getting at to do or just above normal. And the lows will be above normal too for this time of the year. Those are that's the good parts of it at this point. But let's take a look at some of the different runs now. What does the NAM do for us temperature wise? The NAM, the North American model, is about 60% done. Hasn't gone out much farther than us. You notice it shows 50s right away there early in the morning, and on Thursday, and then it goes out just a little farther. Maybe we can get to the high, and not quite. That's just not enough of it in yet. It is showing 60s in Indianapolis, though, on Thursday already. So there you go on that front. So let's go back out, and I'm going to go to the European model, and I'm going to change over to rain right away. First off, I'm going to go to its precipitation, and it does it in different colors, and I don't like these colors, but that's just me. Uh, and we'll go back and see what it shows us. Okay, so here we are early on. The rain's right on the edge. It actually maybe pushes the rain a little farther north than the HER, but the HER is, remember, the HER is getting hourly data in every single hour. This is ingesting every 6 and doing a bigger, broader pattern over a longer period. So that's why you see a lot of more squared off edges on this than you do on the HER, which is more rounded and showing you specifics. So that's why you see that. So you see some rains there, and it shows a little bit, but then it also has the hard spot right there over Lafayette for later this afternoon into this evening, and not much. And then it doesn't really show much overnight at all. But let's take a look at the longer range stuff. Here's Wednesday into Thursday. There's the rain. So we were talking about that system there. Now, what kind of rains are we going to see later? Here we are on Friday. We're starting to bring in some more rain on Friday, and then Friday kind of clears out. And what you can't see on this, and I'm going to zoom out again real quick. Sector selection there is look at the pattern. Now we're starting to set up a more southwesterly pattern. We're starting to pull up moisture. We're starting to see thunderstorms out to our west. This will be in Missouri, back into Kansas, maybe even into Illinois. But this is early morning. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. So these are not a big threat. And you notice they move right towards us. And by Saturday morning, we have a line of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two coming into the picture that day. On Thursday, where if you go back all the way back to Thursday, here we go. There are some thunderstorms maybe up in that would be Nebraska and Iowa, where this low is at that area, and the warm front is out towards us. And then as that passes on Friday, we'll warm up really good, get into some good patterns for warmth on Friday, late Friday. That's why we've been talking for a week on Friday being in the 70s potentially. I'll go back to this in a second to show you those temperatures. But right now, the front comes through Friday. This is Friday night into Saturday morning. Better time frame for the thunderstorms not to get as big, but it does look like there's some potential for some lightning in there during that time frame. And then the high builds in for a little period on Sunday. Sunday looks to be our driest day right now. And then as we push in towards Monday, not much happening, at least on that front. That's Monday, March 9th. Let's check those temperatures out real quick. I'll bet you on Friday that this thing pops 78, 77, 78. There we go. So here we are. We see the warmth just trapped to our south, right? Right there during that period. Here's Lafayette right here, 42. All right. This is Wednesday around 10 o'clock in the morning. Then you see how Wednesday warms up. It pushes up near 60 or so. Not too far away from 60, 65, but Wednesday's still rainy, kind of in and out, right? Doesn't get very cold overnight, Wednesday night at all. Still the upper 40s to around 50. And then look at this temperatures on Thursday, pushing us all the way to 65, 68 degrees, a pocket right not very far away. And then we're fighting again a little bit nice warmth overnight on Thursday night into Friday. And then watch this warm. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. So right now, this is saying 74, but in between, we might get a little warmer. So 70 to 75 looks to be a done deal for Friday right now, I would say. Here we are. What? It's Tuesday? Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty close. Now, time where this front is and could change that. What if the front is a little faster? First off, that could mean bigger thunderstorms overnight, Friday night into Saturday. But right now, the timing says looks like the thunderstorms potential would be Saturday morning, right now. So we go through the temperature. It stays very warm overnight, Friday night into Saturday, in the 60s overnight. And then the front comes through, kind of gives us a little shot of cold, nothing major. But by Sunday, that Saturday night into Sunday, now we're back into the 30s again, which is more seasonable, actually above normal for this time of the year. And then on Sunday, we rebound nicely back to around 62 degrees. And we have just the periods of in and out precipitation through that entire time frame. So there you go on that. Now I'm going to go back to that was the European model, the scare model, right? That's what I like to call the scare model. Let's take a look at where the precipitation is first and foremost. Going to go winter precipitation type so we can see that nice green. And you notice how more blocky even the GFS is compared to the other models, but you do get a pretty good indication of what's going to happen. So here we are, rain over us Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now we're pushing into Thursday. Here comes some more rain, right? Overnight. And then late Thursday, we start to clear out. Friday seems like we're going to be okay, but there'll be a band of thunderstorms or even showers, maybe an isolated chance for a thunderstorm there on Thursday evening. That would be Thursday morning, Friday morning. There you go. I'm getting my dates mixed up. Too much information, I think, sometimes. My brain gets overloaded, too. You know what I'm talking about, Ray? You know what I'm talking about out there. So we kind of go through. There's another line of showers that moves through Saturday morning. That's the one we've been talking about with the potential for thunderstorms. Although the timing frame in the morning helps, means they can't get as big usually. Doesn't mean they can't be big. It just means, generally speaking, they're a little smaller, usually on average, than you see late in the afternoon hours when we get the peak heating of the day. Then we see some more scattered rains Tuesday next week. Here we go. We're seeing stuff. Now, this is setting up the rain just to the south of us again. And then we get more rain. And then there's a bigger system late in the week next week going into Friday. So next week, it's still off and on rains here or there, not quite as bad, it looks like, as we're going to get the next couple of days. There's a quick reinforcing shot of cold, but could we get some ice or snow next week, Saturday into Sunday? That one we'll watch. It might be just enough cold, but it really doesn't. The 5,400 line stays to our north, and we're already starting to change our atmosphere a bit, making it warmer and warmer, and it stays to the north. There you go on the long range forecast. So I don't see this big drop in temperatures, killer drop temperatures that a lot of people have been talking about throughout this entire time frame of middle of the month, that we're going to see this huge drop in temperatures. But we are going to see temperatures later in the month. Let's go back here. We're talking here. Here's our warmth. And what's it say for Friday here on this one? It says that's Thursday afternoon. Friday, look at that, set in the low 70s for sure, it looks like right there. So 70s, and stays warm. You notice here comes the front. You can see the front. You can tack it right in there with the temperatures, right? More warmth on Saturday, then cools off a bit on Sunday. Then we return back to nice, pleasant, nice temperatures next week. There's 70 on Monday, 71. It stays pretty cool overnight Tuesday rebounds only back into the 50s. That's that little cold push after some of the rain on Monday night into Tuesday. And then we're building more warmth out here. And we go through that time frame, and there we are in the 60s and 70s late next week. So you see the pattern. It's warm. Then there's one real shot of cold next Saturday. Will be Friday night into Saturday after a front goes through. But you don't see the push way down to the south here, right? All right. I don't see the big push down there, and I don't see negative temperatures to our north or very, very cold weather to our northwest. So that means it looks like we're going to stay out. It looks like more 60s there by next Tuesday, March 17th. Now we're talking 2 weeks out, and the same, more of the same. It does look like spring has sprung. That is a strong possibility. The last thing I wanted to cover was the potential for some thunderstorms. Let's go back to the HER first. See what the HER has on it. Let me see what information I can find. Convective. Does it have? It has lightning density. I like lightning density on here. You notice what it shows at the end there. So it's that's kind of just erroneous, that first shot right there. So there's nothing on here. But then look at this. There's just a slight risk for some lightning, maybe south of us this morning during the day today. So I mean, there's just a slight risk it shows, but nothing really major here. We're talking just light rain, and it even shows a little bit there on us. It looks like it's a little off kilter with this. There's the shots of lightning that I'm looking for, is these darker spots right here, the greens and the yellows, not this little really gray, where the atmosphere might be conducive. It is going to show us some, though, I think. Here, see how it's popping up here on Wednesday night. Here we go, Wednesday evening. We're talking about Thursday morning, right? And then it kind of passes through. Most of the lightning is south of us. That's pretty good. Wednesday afternoon into the evening, and then it kind of fires up. And then Thursday morning, it's in the morning, so it's south of us. If there's any lightning, there wouldn't be a lot in here along with that one. But what are the capabilities on the NAM? Let's see what the NAM has in it now. And it's showing the potential there Thursday morning also for the potential for some lightning just to our south. So that's something we'll keep in mind for Thursday morning. Luckily, it's Thursday morning. Look how more intense it is and deep it is to our south, right down here, down around the area around Tennessee, where you can see Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Alabama, and Arkansas, all in this area here, the triad. Not triad. What's seven? Tell me what seven is. We'll figure that one out. That's for sure, right? And then we're gonna see some of this stuff, and it's gonna go by, and then later, maybe some more popping up back out to our west. Let's see if the European model does show some of the same information, and so the intensities and the potential for convection. It shows a little bit here. This has got to be Thursday. There we go. There we go. Thursday morning, right? But it just doesn't quite get to Lafayette. It shows that spot where I was talking about. So it's doing the same thing that the NAM did. And we're not really in, we're looking for those deep, dark blues right there. That's your best chances for your lightning during that period. Then we go on out and let's see what happens over the weekend. We were talking about that. Remember, we talked about some thunderstorms out to our west. There they are starting to gen up pretty good. And then there's our shot overnight Saturday night. So this will be Friday night into Saturday morning. There's a little shot of some convective activity potential there. And then it's quiet again for a while. So not a lot of at least anything on that front. Let's see if the GFS gets even worse. Let's go back to where it was. Here's what it's saying on Friday night into Saturday. It looks a little darker, a little more intense, but still, we're not seeing those deep, deep colors anywhere, right? Like here's almost a guarantee you're going to see some convective activity and some lightning out of it. The rest is not quite as easy to see, but then I bet we're going to pick up some more because this goes out 2 weeks. There's another little system, not it's pretty close to us right there. A lot again. Where's it centered? Right down to the south, huh? Right in that Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. I think it's 7 states you can see from that one spot. There's somewhere in Tennessee that you can see. Then you go off and it just kind of tapers off. We really don't get into anything convective of any worries, at least on this front. But remember, a long ways out, changes can happen very easily. All right. So there's most of the weather we have seen and we are going to see. I'm going to pop back out to the radar here. Let's go back out to the satellite picture, reset up our mapping. I got to do that. See, on the other system, the OBS system, I didn't have to reset everything all the time. I'm going to have to get that running, figure out what is wrong with it. All right. Let's come in a little closer so that we can kind of get a good gen of what we're looking at. We'll put this on here. All right, so now the big cirrus band is getting ready to pass by us, and then there's a lot of level clouds, and then there's more of a cirrus band. So this is why this is very deceiving. But what we can't see on this is when we switch it back over to the radar, right? Where's the rain at? There we go. So the rain that was on us is almost on us. And here we are. Well, we're only a half hour later. And we'll go in a little closer. We can see what we can see on that. And we can see Lafayette right here. It's probably raining out your house, Ray, or real close to it. That band will go through. Then there'll be scattered stuff behind it as we go through the afternoon hours with the best shot of precipitation here in Lafayette over the next hour to 2 hours, and then more scattered. Then more will pop up for later this evening and then tomorrow. It's just going to be a rainy period over the next couple of days. And when it's not raining, it's going to be drizzly and misty fog kind of feel in spots, especially down near the river, that kind of thing, where there's extended and more moisture. Uh, Meanwhile, for us, with the weather and nothing really major happening weather-wise, for storm-wise, big storms, right? This is lots of rain, but it's just gonna be more of a steady rain at times, and it will come and it will go, but we're not seeing any of the thunderstorm activity. That's where I'm thinking big storms in my mind, for my mind of being active weather. Let's back out to me. There we go. And let's talk. I know what we want to talk a little bit of before we get out of here is what happened to Purdue over the weekend, right? All right. So here we are. It is now Tuesday. And what happened to them on Sunday? I keep getting the wrong information in here. There we go. So we know they lost. They've lost 2 games in a row. They dropped to 15th in the country, and they are playing uninspired basketball. That is for sure. It just wasn't quite what we expect from Purdue. That doesn't mean the guys aren't trying. It just means what I saw, and if you were with us yesterday, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, is I saw an Ohio State team that swarmed the ball. No matter where the ball was, somebody swarmed to the ball, right? And to try to make it tough on Purdue to score, right? And what I saw on defense from Purdue was the standard stand up, stand around somebody, but nobody swarming it. Nobody putting pressure on the ball at all, just going through the motions almost. Um, there was still some diving on the court from the guys and that kind of thing, but they just kind of went through the motions. It was like we're going to win this game, right? I don't know. That's kind of the feel, especially the first 10 minutes. They got up a little bit. Here was back and forth, and then they fell behind, and then it was like, here we go again. They just didn't have that feel, right? So, despite the loss, they're still 7th this morning. They went from 8th yesterday to 7th on KenPom this morning. Based on their statistics, they're still one of the most efficient offensive teams. They're still top 33 in defense, but the numbers say, remember the numbers, top 10 offense, top 30 defense is wins your national championships. And there's only 4 to 6 teams that are doing that this year. And Purdue was one of those. But if their defensive efficiency goes down, and I'm not even sure what that is right now, I'm going to go look at the numbers real quick here, real fast, because I just glanced at it this morning. Purdue is now number 7 in the country, KenPom wise, instead of 8th at 30.20 total. 33rd on defense, 2nd on offense, right? 9th toughest schedule in the league. So, in all of NCAA, they've played the 9th toughest schedule. Florida's played the toughest, and they're ahead of them. But all the teams ahead of them have not played a single-digit strength of schedule anywhere. I'm looking at, looking at the wrong one, looking at the offensive. Only them, Michigan has played the 5th toughest. Florida's played the 4th toughest. But like Houston's in front of Purdue, but they're 31st strength of schedule. And Arizona's played the 13th toughest. Duke has played the 11th. And then below us, Iowa State's only played the 37th toughest schedule. Who have they played besides Purdue and beat Purdue? They played some good teams. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they didn't. I think they lost last night. Iowa State did. Yeah, Ray's saying Purdue missed a ton of layups and 10-foot shots, which is their shot is that little midi, right? They are the best mid-range shooting team in the country from statistics say that they are, and they're near the top in 3-pointers, and of course they're near the top in 2-pointers right near the basket. But sometimes you're going to have games like that where you miss. And yes, a couple of those balls go in, maybe the whole game changes and your mindset changes, but you shot the 3 well. Your 3 big guys, I don't care what anybody the 3 big guys, Lawyer, TKR, and obviously Braden. Those 3 guys played pretty darn good. I keep hearing, oh, they weren't there. But one scored 19, one scored 18, one scored 15. There were 7 assists, 9 rebounds from TKR. The bench for the first time in a while didn't score, only 5 points off of the bench. That hurt. CJ Cox scored like 13. So it's not like they didn't play good or that they didn't score. The starters, especially, it's that it was lackluster. It just seemed they kept walking the ball up the court. I cannot say this enough, and I've said this the entire season. If your offense is as good as it is, it should be racing to get shots, to put the other team on their back foot, should be racing to get shots. Instead, we walk it up. I would rather have the ball 70 times and lose than have it 50 times and lose by 4 points, right? Because at least during that 70 times I had the ball, I know they're going to score 90 points. But if you walk it up and only get the ball 55 times in a game, you're only going to score so many points. And it's not going to be 100 usually if you only touch the ball 55 times. All right. So move it up there, get them scoring. Then you only walk the ball up the court when you're the team that's the lesser of the 2 teams because you don't want the other team to have the ball as much. Instead, our mindset is just walk it up, set up the offense. If we score in under 10 seconds left on the clock, we're good to go. How about scoring in before 10 seconds, right? On the clock, shot clock's gone. That way you get the ball a whole bunch more times. But we still don't do this. We still don't do it. Paint, unleash the hounds. Let them run. Let them be Alabama on offense because on defense, they're Alabama also. But let them try on defense to do the best they can. Yeah, sure, there's going to be a couple breakaways here or there, right? There's going to be that, but you're going to get those too because you're putting pressure on them. You're going to get wide open backdoor shots like other teams are doing to you. You're going to get wide open threes with nobody anywhere and a guy's falling on the ground like they do to you, right? Stop playing the other team's game, play your game and speed it up. This offensive efficiency should be running up and down the court. That's what it should be doing. Ray, am I right? Am I right, Ray? Let me know, buddy. Come on. I'm right on this one. You know I am. Let the hounds loose. Let them go play basketball and watch what happens. Yes, occasionally it's going to be a backdoor, backcourt street scene where the ball's flying all over the place and we're going to throw it out of bounds. We might go up in turnovers from what are we at 6 to a whole whopping 10. Who cares? The other team is going to do the same thing because they're going to be trying to catch up to you guys, right? And then they're gonna make mistakes all over the place too, as long as you try to play the swarming defense that Ohio State played and looked like. Ohio State looked like it was a national championship game and they wanted to win because they knew they were playing for their lives just to get into the tournament. Purdue looked like, yeah, well, we're here again. It's another game. Let's just get this over with. We should win this. We'll put forth some effort. We'll win by 2. No, that's not what happens. You keep losing. Ray said yes. He said yes. Let the hounds loose. Let them go score. We know they're prolific. Let them score. That is what Michigan did at the beginning of the season. Michigan let their boys go out and run up and down the court and play ball and get used to each other. As they did, they just started slaughtering people. And they're still kind of doing that too. Plus, they play good defense. They get back, or at least they get back and try to play good, solid defense. That's all we're asking for Purdue. Just get back and try to play good, solid defense. But if you're going to give up 82 points to, or 84 points to Ohio State, you better score 94. We didn't touch the ball enough to do that, right? Okay, so, and you didn't put any pressure on them to make things easy on yourselves at times. Instead, we go through the weave, which is great. I understand that's basketball. You can speed it up, speed it up. All right, I've had enough of that one. All right. Here's some notes from the game. Let's see. Michigan State on Thursday night with a quick. Okay, these were the notes for the game before the game. I think we got game notes PDF. Let's see if I've got it here. Nope, those are the pregame stuff. Of course, trying to get us some good stuff on here, Ray. All right, there's that one. Okay, there's that box score. Here it is. To give you an idea of what I was talking about, Trey Kaufman-Renn came out in 28 minutes. He shot 8 of 12. He made 3 of 5 free throws. He didn't have an assist, which is unusual, but he had 9 rebounds. So am I going to be upset at Trey Kaufman-Renn for scoring 19 points and 9 rebounds? No. Am I going to be upset at Fletcher Lawyer, who went 5 for 10 from the field and 5 for 9 from 3 and scored 15? He also had 4 rebounds and 2 assists. No, good game. Braden Smith didn't shoot great. He was 7 of 19, but he was 3 for 8 from the 3-point, and he added in 3 free throws, and he had 7 assists. Oddly enough, he didn't have any rebounds, which is odd for him. He usually packs in a couple of those. He scored 20 points. So between them, they scored 20, 35, 45, 54 points. 54 points from your starters, right? And people were complaining. Now you tack in the other starter, CJ Cox. He had 13 points. He had 2 rebounds, and he had an assist. The only guy who didn't do anything was Oscar Clough. He was 1 for 3. He only had two points, but he did garner 5 rebounds. All right. And then his replacement, Daniel Jacobson, didn't play hardly at all because he just looked inept when he got out there. So they had Jack Benner in a lot, and they went small with Jack in there. Jack ended up with 3 points. He also got 3 rebounds, and he had 2 steals and an assist also. But the big holes in the game were when Daniel Jacobson was in, Jakari Harris was in, and oddly enough, Omer Meyer, who went 0 for 4, but had scored 18 the game before that. They were minus 13, minus 15, and minus 11 on the plus-minus during the game. And somebody on Twitter said this exact thing. They said, they got up by a few points, in came Jacobson and Harris, and before you knew it, we were 6 down. And it happened that fast. And it happened again in the second half. Hence, Jacobson didn't go in very long, and Coach went small to kind of stay in the game, right? So that's kind of how it works out. Even poor Liam Murphy got 2 shots off and didn't make either one. That guy's a sharpshooter, but he only gets to play once every 5 games, so and for 2 minutes. And this game, he got to play for 4.5 minutes, got 2 shots off, didn't score. But your positives, Oscar Clough was +7 while he was in there, despite not really doing much. CJ Cox was +3. Fletcher Lawyer was +5. Now, Braden played the entire game, almost all of it, so he was -7. And Trey played almost, 30 minutes of the game, so he was -4, but they still played good. The bench didn't come through this time for once, right? That happens. That happens. And you end up losing a game by 8 points. Meanwhile, two of their guys scored 20. One scored 14, one scored 12, right? Their bench didn't do much either. Looks like their bench only scored 8 points, but they outscored ours 8-5, 8-5 on the bench scoring. But it just goes to show you percentage-wise shooting. Overall, Purdue was 44% from the field, 38% from three-pointers. I'll take 11 of 29 almost there. And they were on an 0 for 8 streak too at one point in the beginning of the second half. And that's when Ohio State jumped out. Okay. Purdue started shooting threes. They were getting wide open threes. Couldn't make wide open threes. And they got beat because of they only went 3 for 15 in the second half after going 8 for 14 in the first half. And they started off like 0 for their first 8. So they did make like 3 of the last 7, it looks like, numbers wise. And free throws. Free throws were the mainstay. How many free throws did Purdue get? 10. They made 7 of them, 70%. Nothing wrong with that. How many did Ohio State get? 32. 32 free throws. And they made 25 of them. 25. That's an 18-point difference in the game right there. Right there. And that's not the referee's fault necessarily. A lot of the Purdue guys were in foul trouble, right? Let's see who was in foul trouble. Where's the fouls at? Fouls, personal fouls. It looks like Trey fouled out near the end of the game. Oscar Clough fouled out. On their side, Christopher Tilley filled out, and the game was over when he filled out or fouled out. Excuse me, fouled out, not filled out. So there was that game. That was what was going on, at least on that front. So, just a rough little stretch of games for the guys. They've gone 5-6 over their last 11 after starting off 17-1. Does that mean this team does not have a chance at the national championship? I would say no, they still have a chance, obviously, just because they're playing poor right now. Everybody's playing poor off and on right now. It just so happens that we have played one of the toughest schedules, Purdue, that is, not we, not me, you and me, Ray, that they have played one of the toughest schedules, and they've lost to 4 teams in the top 10 already right now. Going back and looking at it in the state in the ratings, lost to Michigan, number 2, lost to Illinois, number 5. Let's see, lost to Michigan State, number 8, lost to Iowa State, number 9. There you go, right there. There's 4 right there, right? Then we beat Nebraska, number 11. Beat Texas Tech, who's supposed to be the darling right now, is playing such good ball. Beat them, they're 13th. Beat Alabama, they're 14th. Who else we got on here? Boom, boom, boom. I'm going down the list. I may miss somebody. That's the problem. Beat Iowa, they're 24th. Let's see. Beat Wisconsin, they're 30th. Lost to Ohio State, they're 35th. And then the rest. Lost to UCLA, 41st. Beat Indiana, split with Indiana, they're 43rd. So all these teams are in the top 50, right? That's how this game is. It just is. That's the way it is. This team still has a strong chance to get to the Final Four, just like it does every year. It depends on how everything sets up, right? But this is the odd year where we have teams, and there are 3 to 5 of them that are just so over the top good for some reason, right? Now, Purdue with its 30.20 rating would be top 3 or 4 in most years because the top team would be 33 to 35 point-wise net rating. The top team this year is 40.86. That's Duke. Michigan's behind him at 39.5. Arizona's 37.6. Florida's 35.03. 33-12 is Illinois. That might be leading many seasons. So you can see, for some reason, there is a plethora of really good teams at the top this year. And that pushed Purdue out of the mix, but Purdue is still 7th. Still has to be a chance for Purdue to win this whole thing. No doubt in my mind on that. So there you go. There you go, Ray. I wish I had better news. Wish I had better news on that front. Let me go back and see what the temperature is real quick, and we'll get out of here. We'll call it a day. That sound like a good deal? All right, it's 38 degrees outside. It's cloudy right now. Feels like 46. I can see 70 hitting us by Friday. Some very warm temperatures, but unfortunately, a lot of rain in the forecast over the next couple of days. Maybe the Souderquist down the road will be able to get their cows going out and we can get some drier air in here. Maybe that's something we'll be able to do as the week goes on. So out there, the Souderquist and the Yoders and the all them people and the walkers down the road, maybe they'll get their cows in and they won't be running all over the place. That Ray Walker's got to fix his fence. That's what he's got to do, and then things will be good to go. All right. That's it for today. That was your Amish forecast for now. And I think I may stick with this just for a little while. We'll have to see before I shave the rest off. We'll have to see how that goes. It is Tuesday, March 3rd. It is right about 10 o'clock. You have a great day. You have blessings out there, everybody. And we will see you again tomorrow morning. Might be a short one tomorrow morning. We'll have to see what happens. See you, everybody.